はい、皆さんこんにちは。はい、今日はToday we are here at the 淡路じゃないよ、徳島prefecture. Here is Awa Jūrōbē puppet theater. はい。で、so this is Martin さん is the director of this Awa Jūrōbē puppet theater. And also the retired professor of Japanese literature.
Hi everybody.
じゃあこれからマティさんに紹介してもらいます。I'll ask him to introduce this puppet theater. Also we can show you the inside the theater and we can see a little bit play, right?
Yes, yes we can. We'll see puppets. We'll see everything about puppets.
やった。
Yes.
はい、じゃあ行きましょうか。Shall we
Yes,
go?
let's go in.
はい。
Let's go in.
じゃあ行きます。ここがエントランスです。
Yeah, so here's the entrance, and to the left is the reception. It's only 410 yen,
はい。
less than $5 to get in to see a show and to see the museum. And there's Mori-san inside.
はい。はい。よろしくお願いします。
So this theater is built on the original estate of Awa Jūrōbē,
はい。
who lived in the 1600s here in Tokushima.
はいはい。It's the Edo period. Yes, yes,
and
long time ago.
the garden of the estate is still here. So we'll see the garden later on.
はい。
But the theater is right in here. And we'll spend more time later.
I'll show you. 今は映像を見てもらってます。Now ask them to watch the video, preview, introduction about the puppet and the puppet theaters.
Yeah.
So later we will show you the play.
Yes, and there will be a live performance in about a half hour.
あ、こんにちは。ロネさん。あ、
You can get your Tokushima souvenirs and local products here.
はい、お土産屋さんです。そう、今からここ
So we have a display of the puppet heads here. And so these are the heads that are used in the performances. And you can see we've got all different kinds of characters, but we'll look at those more closely later on. The first thing I'd like for everyone to see is a puppet head maker, because Tokushima is the place that has the most head makers, carvers of traditional puppet heads, and that's been true for hundreds of years. And even for the National Theater in Osaka and the other theaters in the country, most of the heads are carved here in Tokushima. So let's go take a look at one of the puppet head carvers.
もうそっち行くの？そう、お客さんにこう紹介してます。ボランティアの方が。はい。はい。So he is a very very famous person. はい、天地さん。He is the puppet carvers. はい。英語でなんて言うんですかね。パペットカーバー。
Puppet head carver, 人形師。
人形師。パペットヘッドカーバーと言います。はい。すごい上手。こんな感じでカーブして。すごいですね。今まで何体ぐらい作ってこられましたか。はい。
100体、新しいもので100体ぐらい。
ああ、ニューワン。
からしたら150ぐらい。
消費？
はい。
So he's carved a lot of puppet heads here in the.
そう。
この頭がですね、まあいつから彫ってますか。
So he said carved over 100 heads. So today, so now it takes 4 days to carve up to this. はい。はい。
これくらいの。
はい。木でブロックの木ですよね。はい。ありましたね。ごめんなさい。そう。 もともとはこんな木なんですよ。
丸い
はい。
これくらいの。
Just a block of the wood. Then they carved to the head like that.
Here, and then down to here, and split the head and carve out the inside in order to put in the movable eyes, movable mouth, and other parts.
Right.
We can go back.
Okay, so now
Amari-san can show us the.
so Amari-san is the most renowned puppet head carvers. Yeah. He said he carved over 100 new heads, and he also fixed the broken puppet. And 中の様子です。Inside the puppet head, so they have a lot of gimmicks and ですよね。Can you show? Can you tell? 目が動くんです。You see the eyes, eyeball changed, closed the eyeball, and the
eyebrows will move also, and the mouth will move. Now, one thing about moving mouth, it's not used for lip sync, for speaking. The mouth opens and closes usually for laughing, or sometimes for smoking, like blowing smoke out or something. But it's not used like a Muppet with for speaking, only for just a few special sounds. And see these springs here.
It's made of the.
It's made of whale baleen, usually. So whale baleen has the consistency of like the plastic of a pocket comb or something, and so it makes a good spring. One problem is because it is a natural protein product of an animal, bugs like to eat it. And so some puppeteers use the blade of a hacksaw,
Right.
or sometimes piano wire. In there instead.
でもオリジナリー、the traditional use the
Yes,
whale.
yes, of course, of course. Yes.
ありがとうございます。今まででもう何年彫ってらっしゃるんですか？
まだ45、6年。
45、6年、46 years carving the puppets。一番苦労したことって何ですか？
まあないですね。
ない。
仕事が楽しみ楽しいんで。
楽しいから苦労しないんですか？
So he suffered anything, he just enjoyed carving.
難しい仕事も楽しいですね。
難しい。
クリアするのに苦労するんですけど、
はい。
ね。
I guess that's, they say, if you do something you love, you never really work a day in your life, right? If you love your work,
Right.
right? And so you see how many different kinds of carving tools.
これが carving tools。すごい。それぞれ使う部位によって使う道具が違うんですよね。
今みんな自分で作ってるんです。
自分で作るんですか？ So even he makes these tools by himself.
絵がみんな違うのが、この刃物を見なくてどれを使っても分かるんですよ。
はい。
これはこういう刃物、これはこういう刃物って分かるので、みんな違うように作ってるんですね。
So then each of the different blades has a different handle, which he made himself. So it's easy to know which one to grab, which one to use.
By touching.
But they're right there. They're very obviously different.
Right.
これ何ですか？
これ新聞紙です。
首のとこ？
この部分。
絵の部分。
So this is the handle
Handle.
that fits underneath, and you hold this with your left hand, and then it has these. So these are not trimmed down yet. But that's how the head is put together. And then on the shingoshi here, there are different. This one controls the head going up and down, or half of a head.
ちょっともうちょっと引きますね。
And then these, with your thumb, you control the other parts, the eyes and the mouth and such.
へ で作る過程で一番楽しいところって何ですか？
すべてですね。
すべてか
Everything here is fun, right?
集中してるconcentrate
And Amari-san has carved puppets for, of course, for the troops here in Tokushima, and then also for the National Theater in Osaka, and many other puppet troops in other parts of the country.
Right.
Yeah, so he's done a lot of work on many different kinds of puppets.
Right. But he resides in Tokushima, but he provides the all the puppets in all over Japan. Yeah. So the most famous puppet theater is, as you said, is the Osaka National
Yeah, the Osaka
Bunraku
National
Theater.
would be the best known.
best known.
And they perform there usually 4 or 5 programs each year for about 2.5 or 3 weeks each time. So if you want to see the puppet theater in Osaka, you have to time your visit just right, because they usually are performing every 3 months, but only for about 3 weeks. And then they move to Tokyo and perform there also. But it's only 4 or 5 shows a year. Should we
But here in
take a
this
look at
place.
the puppet heads here more closely?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's go.
Somebody says,
ありがとうございます。ありがとうございます。So here in the Awa Jūrōbē Puppet Theater, we praised twice a day from 11 and from 2. 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. so daily. So and even during the Saturday and Sunday, you can see it's a live show of the Tayu, the vocalist, storytelling, and also the Shamisen. So it's the best is the weekend to visit. Yeah, here.
here are some of the puppet heads on display here in the museum. And also the director of the Awa Jūrōbē Yashiki is here.
Sato-san.
And
Hi.
let's introduce him.
Hi.
But he can speak English also.
よかった。はい。So you are welcome to come here and communicate to all of you. はい。
So, Sato-san, can you tell us about something about these heads?
We say 人形浄瑠璃の、
はい。
the Japanese traditional puppet show の、浄瑠璃 is the name of music.
Joruri, the name of music.
Shamisen, 3 strings instrument. The narrator or
Vocalist or storyteller?
Storyteller. It's called.
tell, not sing. We say tell.
Tell.
The story with the accompaniment of shamisen.
Right.
And one thing we should probably mention is the word Ningyō Jōruri and bunraku, because I think many people in Japan and outside Japan are confused. Ningyō Jōruri is the kind of puppet theater that has 3 puppeteers, head, left hand, and feet operating, and also then has the vocalist, the Tayu, and the Shamisen player. And that's Ningyō Jōruri, and that's a generic term for 3-man or 3-woman, 3-person operated puppets, vocalist and Tayu together. Bunraku is the Osaka word to describe the Osaka theater. So bunraku really applies usually only to the Osaka, but Osaka is Ningyō Jōruri. So it's just one local, it's the most famous, but it's just one local version of the Ningyō Jōruri. Basically, the art form is the same, whether it's Osaka or Awaji or Tokushima or many of the other troops. It's the same basic art form with puppets, vocalist, and shamisen music. So that's one thing that it's good to make that clear for viewers who learn about Japan, because they hear the word bunraku, but it's actually just Osaka. Ningyō Jōruri which is harder to pronounce,
Right.
is the generic term.
Hi.
So,
I explained that Bunraku is one of the Ningyō Jōruri played in Bunraku Theater in Osaka.
そうですね。これはいろいろちょっと聞いてもいいですか？これが三味線ですよね。3 string instrument is。
三味線も3種類あって、細竿、中竿、太竿。
はい。
ジョールリで使うのは一番太い太
ああ、そう。
because the shamisen that's used in the traditional puppet theater has a thicker neck, and so it has a deeper, richer sound.
Okay, okay.
Then it's different from the kind of shamisen used for solo performance or for accompanying singing.
Right. So he said there are 3 types of the shamisen, and in this Ningyō Jōruri use the most thick one. So that the more heavier sound?
Yeah, richer, deeper.
Deeper sounds, okay.
It's a powerful sound because for the theater, you need for the sound to expand in the theater. Or for outside performances. And many of the performances here used to be outdoors. And so the shamisen music needs to reach farther.
Right. Okay.
And it's here.
What is this? That is a storytelling book.
That's the script for each play.
How about these 2? Maybe later we'll see in the show.
Yes, we'll see this later on.
And this one is clothes. It's kind of traditional, kind of uniform for the Tayu.
Right.
はい、later we will see.
江戸時代のフォーマルウェア。
In the Edo period, formal wear for the Tayu. Edo period, by the way, is about 17th century.
ジョールリー was established first. 先にジョールリっていう音楽があって、
yes, yes.
The puppet show was attached.
So the original basic show is the music and the vocals.
Right.
Puppets were just in
Adding
illustration.
later. はい。
徳島プレフェクチャー、
はい。
自身もある。
はい。
There were many puppet troops.
Troops.
So the puppet maker
はい。
can work carving puppet.
はい、わかりました。
Even now there are more than 40 puppet makers in Tokushima.
40。はい、ありがとうございます。These are questions. 質問があります。Does the narrator read the script? Does the narrator, the Tayu, reads the script?
Well, they keep the script in front of them as they're performing. Mostly they already know.
Yes,
they
remember.
know the script well, but it's traditional to
Just showing
follow
you.
and keep and turn the pages as they perform. But
They
they all
remember.
have it memorized.
Yes, yes. I just saw it, but they all
But
remember
actually,
it.
turning the page is part of the show.
Yes, yes.
It is. I mean, it's
Yes,
just
it
part
is.
of the entertainment.
はい。はい。
Yeah. Because at the very beginning, you'll see the Tayu lifts the script up sort of respectfully.
Right, right.
Because in the puppet theater, the script is very, very important. In kabuki, there's a lot of improvisation, and the actors can change lines or completely change parts of it, especially the stars. But in puppet theater, the script as it is written is very, very is revered, and that's part of the difference between the puppet theater and the kabuki theater. And they are contemporary. They started about the same time and grew up together.
Your explanation got a point because you already had another questions, or she said, or sing from the script, perhaps as in kabuki.
Yes,
Yes.
it happens in kabuki.
Okay.
Although sometimes, as I said, the actors actually change things in kabuki.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. はい、これは the head.
Sapo-san, what are these?
すごい different expression, facial
明治時
expression.
代、大正時代に作られたものを、
はい
Yeah, made in the Meiji period after Meiji and Taisho after
Yeah.
about 1869, 70 through the early part of the 20th century.
It's very old. So many expressions and different faces.
それぞれの人物の特徴を少し誇張した形で作られている。
exaggerates their
Right,
facial
so
expressions.
Each different character. I mean, these puppets all play different characters with different personalities, and so each of the puppet heads. I mean, the face can't change very much, so you want to express something with the puppet head, and then the rest of the acting comes with the movement of the puppet.
おばあさん Look at the 意地悪ばあさん How do you say 意地悪ばあさん?
It's a mean old lady.
Mean old lady.
She's a mean old lady.
Yeah.
And this one over here is interesting.
Yes, yes.
As you see a fox
Fox.
right here, but look on the other side. So
Beautiful
when a
woman.
beautiful woman becomes, well, the fox can transform into a beautiful woman
So
and
is that-
lead a traveler astray.
Does that mean the beautiful women are like a fox?
Well,
That
not
maybe the
necessarily.
inside?
The fox is the fox,
All right.
and the fox can decide to pretend to be a beautiful woman
Okay.
to fool people. Yeah. So this is not anything bad about women. It's bad about foxes.
Okay. I found it's very interesting that gabu.
Gabu,
Yes.
yes, the gabu. There are some cases where a female character is possessed by jealousy. And when they're
scary.
possessed by jealousy, if you can see the young woman's mouth, there's a line coming from the edge of the lips. When you pull the lever, she turns, the photograph shows
Cones? What's that?
what horns come
Horns?
out, her eyes turn around and turn gold, and then her mouth splits open
Yeah.
with golden teeth.
Kawaii.
So
Kawaii.
that's a woman possessed by jealousy. So
Right.
not all women.
そうね。
ガブのからくりも徳島の人形師が考案したって言われてて、
Yeah, so it was
Invented.
this type of puppet head with this kind of special action was invented in Tokushima.
はい。
Yeah.
わかりました。And also I heard these different colors, the white color and more tinted color has a different.
白と赤。
そうですね。白い顔の人形がいい人で、
Good person is white, but
悪役になっていく。
then it's a more thick colored and
Yeah.
scary and
Yeah, the
mean
white are
person.
generally, they're wearing white makeup, actually, I mean,
right.
representing a person in white makeup. But they tend to be the good guys.
はい。
And the red, more what they would call red, more of a natural Japanese skin tone, can often represent bad characters,
Bad
although
character.
sometimes they're neutral, just
Right.
ordinary
Okay.
people.
はい。ありがとうございます。
So here's it's when they paint the faces, they use boku, which is ground up seashells, oyster and clam shells to make a
seashells.
white powder. And then they add nikawa, which is a glue made from fish protein.
Fish protein.
And then they mix that together, and then you paint the heads 20 to 30 layers. And that's why when you look at it, it doesn't look like ordinary paint, because ordinary paint looks very flat. There's no depth to it. But if you look at this, it's like a pearl.
Right.
You know, because pearls reflect through many, many layers. And so you get this sort of more of a glow to the skin
Right.
in here. And that's from the many, many layers of color that are added, or white that are added.
I see. すごい interesting. It's a hair. It's a real Japan kind of human hair or
Much of this is jinmo.
Jimo or human hair.
ああいうのは動物の
あ、動物の。
体に入ってる毛を使う。
Even use the animal hair as well.
For the kind of for the fox that turns into
Yeah,
a
woman.
young woman, sort of originally it's an animal hair, right? A fox. It's not real fox hair, but because it has a more animal quality
Right.
for that. But then otherwise, most of it is human hair. And then sometimes, if they have to put the hair with more bulk underneath, they put yak hair underneath it.
Okay. Okay. ありがとうございます。次は
So
部屋飾りとかもで
And see, this is the size head. The smaller head is the standard size for bunraku, the National Theater in Osaka, because that was generally performed inside, and so the audience was generally closer. Traditionally in Tokushima and Awaji, most performances were outdoors, and so you're
can see from the far away, right?
What do you call those?
Customers can
audience could be farther away, so they've made larger puppet heads so they could be seen easily off, from a distance. But many performances are closer in now, or they're indoors here and all that. So this is a common size for Tokushima. And
So bigger size.
Although even here in Tokushima there are smaller puppet heads than this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, すごい it's a big geta.
Yes.
Huge
The
geta.
geta, the wooden clogs that are normally worn. People used to wear them all the time to keep their feet out of the mud puddles and things like that. These are butai geta. And butai means stage. And so
The puppeteer wear that.
right, the main puppeteer
Yeah.
wears it. And later on we'll see how the puppeteers hold the puppets and such. But the main puppeteer needs to be higher up to hold the puppet higher. And so they would wear these according to their own height. So a really short puppeteer would have tall geta, and a tall puppeteer would have shorter geta. But this is, to me, the biggest, most difficult part of puppet operation is wearing geta.
大変。
Fortunately, I'm tall, so I never
Yeah. So actually, the Martin-san is a puppeteer as well, right? Puppeteer. すごい。
So it's getting close to time to go over and see the show start.
じゃあ、触るのは後でいいですかね。人形をこう私がさせてもらいたいから。そう、ルカ
So
ディ
I think we should probably go over to the part where we were, because it's easy to lead from there.
ア。はい。
So, okay, so here's the theater. Show front curtain. Let's come over here to take a look.
ここがシアターです。で、もうすぐ始まります。Soon it's gonna start. And you see this is the main stage and also the
You want to do
left
the
side.
front row? That way you don't have to shoot over anybody.
ここ
Or
で、
here's the
はい、
thing.
ここが。
Okay.
すいません。はいはい。
Because of the angle, I think here is better to shoot.
はい、はい、OK. And here, this is a small theater. It's a big main theater. The small one is for the Tayu, the vocalist, storyteller, and the Shamisen player. Yeah, we'll see later. And what about that screen over there? Maybe
Over there, that is fusuma, the kind of sliding screens that are used in the theater, and so that one is sitting out here for the audience to just enjoy. But many of the traditional puppet stages here in Tokushima, there are 80 rural stages out in the villages, in the mountains and all, and they have those in the back, and they can change the scenery easily by sliding the fusuma back and forth. And that one is there now for decoration. And the show today doesn't use fusuma.
ありがとうございます。始まりますよ。
携帯電話、スマートフォンとお持ちの方いらっしゃると思うんですが、上演中お写真撮っていただいても大丈夫です。ただしフラッシュは控えていただくようご協力お願いいたします。携帯電話、スマートフォンに関しましては、マナーモードにしていただくか、電源をお切りいただいて音が出ないようにお願いいたします。はい、それでは改めまして、本日は徳島県立阿波十郎兵衛屋敷にご来館くださいまして誠にありがとうございます。上演ご覧いただきます前に簡単ですけれどもご説明させていただきます。徳島といえば阿波踊りが飛び抜けて有名なんですが、 実は人形浄瑠璃も盛んな地域の一つになっております。まず一つ目に、全国で最も多くの団体が活躍しておりまして、あちら上に何々座と書いてありますのが人形を操る人形座になりまして、県内20あるうちの12の団体が日替わりで、その隣の何々会と書いてありますのが太棹の三味線のお師匠さんと物語を語る太夫さんがいる太夫部屋となっております。
There are six something kai, that is the prayer of the Tayu, the vocalist, the storyteller, and the shamisen prayer. So there are six groups, I mean two groups, I mean two of them.
農村舞台と呼ばれる外の劇場が人形浄瑠璃を全国の9割徳島に集中して残っておりまして、かつては300棟近く建てられておりました。で、現在では88箇所現存しており、そのうちの12、3箇所では春や秋の祭りに合わせて今もなお声で楽しまれております。そして3つ目に、この公演で使うお人形のことを徳島では阿波デコと呼びまして、この1体のデコを3人で協力しながら動かしていきます。そしてデコを作る人形師と呼ばれる人がプロ、アマ含め40名の方がいらっしゃいまして、この徳島県内だけではなく大阪の文楽劇場という人形浄瑠璃のプロの団体さんが使用されているお人形もほとんどが徳島の人形師が制作したものとなっております。このように人形浄瑠璃の団体、農村舞台、人形師、この3つの日本一が並ぶのが阿波人形浄瑠璃となっております。そして阿波踊りであったり阿波人形浄瑠璃であったり、文化活動には経済力が必要になってくるんですが、徳島の経済を支えてくれたものというのは何といっても藍染めの染料、阿波藍です。そしてこの阿波藍の栽培を支えてくれたものというのがこの近くを流れている吉野川になっています。吉野川はかつて日本三大暴れ川の一つに数えられるぐらい台風の時期になると毎年氾濫を起こしてたんですが、そのおかげで山から栄養たっぷりの土を畑に運んでくれました。藍の栽培にはどうしてもたくさんの肥料が必要になってくるんですが、この吉野川があったおかげで徳島というのはどこにも負けない質の高い藍を栽培することができまして、明治時代には全国の市場を独占するまでになっていきます。で、こういった藍を通じた取引や交流を背景に人形浄瑠璃も盛んに行われ、もうまさしく吉野川があってこその徳島の町、そして人形浄瑠璃の発展とつながっていくようになります。そして今からご覧いただく京成阿波の鳴門というお話なんですが、徳島の人物が主人公で母と子の愛を描いた分かりやすいストーリーのため、徳島では昔から定番であることとなっております。
This play
で、この
is
あらすじといいますのが、
Bando Jūrōbē and
徳
his
島
wife
藩
and
の
his
侍
daughter. But
重郎兵衛という意
the
味の夫
play
婦
is
は
not really
主
based
君の
on
国
the
継の刀という
original
大事な刀が
historical
使われている
character. They
当
just
時
used
3
his
歳であった
name
娘のお
because
鶴を徳島の
he
おば
didn't
あさ
do
ん
the
に
bad
会って
things that actually happen in the play. But the scene that we're going to see
そこで盗
now
賊の仲間入りをし
is
て刀を探すのですが、
about
なかなか見
his
つから
wife
ずに歳月が過
who
ぎていきま
is
す。
living in the house in
お鶴が9
Osaka.
歳になり、どうしても一目、お父さんお母さんに会いた
The
いと、
father
一人で最高
is
33
a
歳準
samurai,
備と
and so he's given the
ある日、母の意味が大
the
阪の花
task
作りで煮
of
物をしている
recovering
と、
a sword that
巡
had
礼
been
に
stolen
お父
from
さ
his
ん、
master.
巡礼の女の子が偶然
And
に
so he
い
goes to Osaka
お意
with
味や
his
懐か
wife
しい徳
in
島
order
の
to
神の
kind
言葉
of
が聞
go
こえたので、
undercover
家へ上げて
in
話をしているうちに聞けば、
the gangs of
お父
thieves
さんの名は十郎
and
兵衛。
pretending to be one himself, so like an undercover cop. And he goes there to find the sword, but it's been 8 or 9 years, and he hasn't found the sword, and he himself is actually gone mad, sort of joined the thieves for real. And then this scene that we're going to see, the little girl that their daughter they left behind when she was an infant, goes on a pilgrimage, going to various temples to pray to find her parents. And in this scene, she accidentally comes to the house of her mother and father, and her mother finally realizes this must be the daughter I left behind, but because her father is a criminal and is likely to be taken by the authorities, the mother doesn't want to reveal that she's her mother, because otherwise the daughter will be drawn into the
それでは
family's
お待たせい
crimes.
たしました。本日応援します太夫三味線気象会人形阿波十郎兵衛座の皆さんです。どうぞごゆっくりご覧くださいませ。
Sorry, I got another question. How big is the puppet heads?
I'm sorry?
How big is the puppet heads?
Well, we can look inside the
Yeah, we'll show you.
museum and we can actually
Yes.
get the puppet out and
Yeah.
I can hold it up and
Later,
try.
later we'll
We
show
can
you.
go in this direction.
Right. So what do you think about the theater? ありがとうございます。ここはさっきのところだ。
So here's the display of the same characters, the mother Oyumi and the daughter Otsuru, and we can
Yeah.
try those from
Yeah, we
in
can
fact,
manipulate the
and
inside. How to
First
use
of all, let me show you.
inside of
This
the.
is what the puppets. This is a male puppet
Right.
inside. You see, there's a wooden board here that forms the shoulders, and then here on these loops is where the arms would be tied in, and then this is the koshiwa that forms the waist, and then this cloth here forms just holds the body together. But otherwise, it's just empty. And then the legs are tied here, or sometimes they're tied here. And back here is a handle for operating the leg. So that's basically the inside of the puppet is really, really simple. People are surprised that there's no structure inside. But if you have the right size shoulder and the right size waist and the cloth, it automatically forms a good shape for human beings. And then, would you like to?
外した方がいいかな。ちょっと頭を外してみますね。
はい。おお、怖い怖い、スキャリー。
It's so cruel.
はい。これでもちっちゃい、さっきのよりちっ
And
ちゃ
of
いです
course,
ね。
this is small, and this is
Yeah.
a child. So it's a little girl character, so it's a little bit smaller than. And in fact, the children are often disproportionately small from the adults.
はい。
So
このレバーを下げることで、この子は目をつぶります。
ああ。
so that lever closes her eyes. Use your thumb.
このようなレバーがたくさんついてる人形があって、眉毛が動いたり、目玉が左右に動いたり、いろんなからくりが仕込まれています。
So sometimes even as many as 5 levers that you operate with the thumb for the eyebrows, eyes, moving eyes back and forth, or even sometimes crossing the eyes.
ああ。わ
で、頭をこの肩板にセットして、そして背中に穴が開いてるんですね。
はい。
ここから左手を入れます。
So you put your left hand in, and the hand goes under. It's not a hole here. The hole you reach under the waistband there to hold the puppet head.
はい。
And then that one string in the front, you pull that to keep her head up, and when you release it, hanashitara, her head falls
あ
forward. So you pull that to lift the head. So if she's nodding, unazuku, right?
で、メインパペティア、
あ。うん。
holds the head,
うん。
and also the right hand.
うん。
The hand is tied
うん。
rope.
うん。
こういうふうにまっすぐ伸ばしてしまうと死んだ手になるので、いつも少しこう曲げて。
ああ。Moving around. So there are 3 people manipulating one puppet, right? So the main one with the whole body and the head and the right hand.
And then the left hand, like who is? Can you try to do the left hand for us here? Use your right hand here.
Yeah. And the third one,
The third
it's a
one,
leg.
it's here.
Yeah, leg. Yeah.
And
So 3 people.
Those who walk.
So, Linda-san, do you understand? So one person, the main puppeteer, manipulates, holds the body and manipulates head and the right hand. And the second one manipulates the left hand, and the third one manipulates the legs. The most heavy one is the first one, holding the body and head and the right hand. So, 大変です。It's very heavy. はい、3人が3 people 大変ありがとうございます3 men moving the one little girl
人で使うからいろんなポーズができるんですけどね、
はい、
かえって難しいこともたくさんあって、
そうですね、
例えばこう体の真ん中で手を合わせる、右手と左手を別々の人が使ってるので、結構難しかったです。
難しいですね。It's very difficult because the 3 people are manipulating one puppet, so you know the timing is very difficult.
The most important thing is the eye line.
Eye line.
Where she look, I must move the hand.
Looking up, left.
It's very funny like this.
はい。はい。
So the eyes follow the hand.
はい。そうね。Even the hand.
Right?
Left? Like 歌舞伎。はい。そう、指まですごいこう。綺麗。ねえ。
So especially women and children puppets have these very expressive, delicate hands.
女の人がこう指開いて物を掴むとあんまり品が良くないけど、
それてるのがね、このそれてるのがいいね。はい。
上手な人が使うと人間よりも女性らしい。
色っぽいね。
女性や子供の特徴を捉えたとてもよくできた手だと思うんです。
確かに。
でもこの手ではさすがに物が持てないので、物を持つときはこういうふうにして物を持って
So for example, if she is answering her smartphone, she can reach down.
人がactually the human hold it as if the puppet holding it 細かいそうはいありがとうございます3人面白い3 men holding
This is Michael Holloway. He's my former student at the University of Missouri, and then he's been living in Japan now for almost 2 years altogether, and started training in the puppet theater 3 years ago. So he's a member of Tokubeza of my puppet troupe here.
ありがとうございます。This is another question. How well can the puppeteer see through the black holes on the head? Black hood.
Actually,
black hood.
We can put a black hood over the camera, and you can see. Would you go look in my side pocket of my suitcase that's in the theater?
これね。
Yeah, I've got some in the side pocket.
ちょっとシースルーになってるんですね。It's a see-through
Yeah,
face.
we'll bring some over here.
Okay.
And you can. I've done it before. Slipped it on the camera, and the audience can see what the view looks like. Yeah. So this is then the puppet Oyumi, the mother.
Very heavy. But she's okay.
She's got a heavy kimono on.
Yes.
But even heavier is when the puppets have male puppets.
Yeah,
have armor.
like this. You see this armors.
Yeah.
これ
Now this is not
弁
made
慶
of metal, but it's still
So
a lot
many.
of layers.
Yes.
And all.
And all the tools and his
Yes,
arms
yes.
must be
It
very
can be
heavy.
quite heavy.
Yes, it is.
But so this is Oyumi. She has the same controls on the inside, and then her hand is the same almost. Oh, okay. you know, I think it would be important for your viewers to see how you operate a puppet.
うん。
What do you think?
はいはい、じゃあちょっとやってみます。あ、それ来た。ちょっと見せ
Well,
て。
first of all, let's see how what the hood looks like. So
誰か被って。
yes. And so now he disappeared. Right? And then the puppeteers, of course, as you saw, wear a black robe. And so if you take this off and put this over the camera, okay, aim it at.
あ、シースルーね。ほら。
Yeah.
You can see. See, this is the
So this is the view.
cover. What you see?
So can you see anything?
Yeah, it's everything. Can see everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it depends on the lighting. You know how easy it is to see and all.
Right.
But this is a fairly standard kind of hood to wear for the puppet. But Kazu-san, would you like to try the puppet yourself?
はい。
Okay. So first, you go take.
あれ、マイケルさん is John Criswell is your friend? No? No? 違う。
Oh, yes.
ああ、say hi. はい。ありがとうございます。Can you hold?
Okay. So put in your left hand.
重い。
Good. And then your right hand goes here. So you like this. So, and then put your hand in here. There.
Yes, John Criswell.
And then Sato-san, would you like to do left hand?
あんまり手が出ちゃうと。
これ持ってるだけで I cannot manipulate the eyes which is the string support the eyes.
So her hand should not go further than this out the sleeve if you want to be joruri. Very elegant.
I just cannot hold the
Let's see there. Okay, so here's this ball, and then pull down. So,
そうそうそう。
はい。
okay.
Oh, you see the eyes? I close now.
あ
So hard. So hard.
So then, so I'm going to make a lap for her. So he's up. That's good.
I think I'm gonna broke this.
Right.
はい。どうしましょ
Well,
うか。
if you break it, you have to pay for it.
ああ、how much? いくら？
いくらかな?
あ、100万円ぐらいかな。
No, only 100万円. only. So let's what they were talking. What Sato-san was talking about the mesen, and she looks off to the right and points with her hand, and then you follow the hand. Good. And then she turns to the left. Perfect. This is very good, I would say. You're hired.
あ、ありがとうございます。やったやった。いいよな。大変です。ありがとうございます。すいません。はいどうも。は
And
い
then here in Tokushima,
はい。
the Tokushima produces 90% of the sudachi.
ああ、yeah.
The
Do you know?
sudachi fruit.
Yeah, fudachi fruits.
So-
It's a citrus, part of kind of citrus.
Yes. It's,
Yeah. So that is sudachi-kun.
and before anybody asks a question, there is no English name for sudachi.
Oh,
It's
hmm.
called sudachi in English also.
Okay.
But this is Sudachi-kun, who is the representative for the prefecture. And so we have a puppet of
Tokushima.
Sudachi-kun.
え、動くの？ああ、すごい。The eyebrows. おー、すごいすごい。パペティアスダチ君。 puppet and Awa Odori. Can you dance the Awa Odori with that,
Well,
please?
if the puppeteer can dance, the Awa Jūrōbē, the puppet can, but
左手は幅だ、left
I don't
side.
know. Michael, can you do the other hand?
Awa dance.
Sato-san, who is originally from Tokushima, will just laugh at us, right? So it's the head, hand springs out.
阿波踊りっぽくなってきた。
Holds in when it goes in. So I'll go first. Like
That is 阿波踊り。Awa dancing using the puppet of the すだちくん。コマネチやってるみたい。
So
なんかじゃ。
if you come to Tokushima during Awa Odori, sometimes you can see the puppets also dancing.
はい。はい、ありがとうございます。
So now here behind, right here, is Oyumi no Tsuru, and then also the father, Jūrōbē.
ジロベ。
And the scene in which he appears is not performed very often. It comes after the scene that we saw the first part of. But this is the whole family here.
So actually, the Jūrōbē is not the real one, but the Jūrōbē is a name is from these theaters, right?
The man who lived here, Bando Jūrōbē, was a samurai official in the government, and produced indigo, which indigo is Tokushima is the biggest producer of indigo dye in Japan, natural indigo. The story of Bando Jūrōbē going to Osaka to retrieve the sword and then himself becoming a bad guy and joining a gang is not historical.
Yeah.
They used his name, but the play was written many years later and just used his name and the fact that he was from Tokushima as part of the plot line.
Yeah.
So the real Bando Jūrōbē was not a criminal, as
Yes.
far as we are concerned here in
Yes,
Tokushima.
yes. I also have found the interesting fact that how this puppet theater and puppet theater and those such theater plays developed in the Tokushima, because I heard it says indigo is なんだろう economically supports the
Right, because indigo was a product that could be sold at high prices. And there were problems occasionally because the Edo government pushed rice production for economic stability for the whole country, to encourage production of rice so there was always plenty to eat and all. But there were some problems because some Tokushima landowners would produce indigo because they could sell it at a high price. And the Edo government wasn't always happy with that. And because if they weren't producing indigo, if they were producing indigo, that meant they were not producing rice. And so there were some problems with the Edo government and Tokushima over the production of indigo versus rice. But it was a very profitable product, which also meant that different communities could have a little bit of extra spending money. And so the puppet theater developed because there was this good economy from indigo in many cases. And so the indigo trade, the good prices it would bring on the national market brought money in that allowed for the production of these kinds of puppets themselves and puppet theaters. We here in Tokushima, you can see it in this photograph. That's actually a dedicated theater. It was built for the purpose of producing plays. And the color photograph on the bottom, that photograph is only about 15 years old, and so that's one of the
outside
traditional
theater.
theaters. And so for small villages to have these lovely puppet theaters and a puppet troupe was because there was a little bit of extra money to do that.
Right.
Right, and so now there are over 80 theaters still scattered across the prefecture and still being used, especially for summer and fall festivals. Now this year, because of the virus, there are many of the performances are canceled. But in a normal year, the puppet stages out in the mountains and the villages are still being used.
ありがとうございます。はい。
In fact, this is not the puppet theater, but it's connected in one case. This is called an ieju. And you know, like the bento bako that children carry all over Japan. This was a family-size picnic box. And they would, each drawer would be packed with different kinds of foods. And so it would be carried by a tenbin, like the pole over the shoulder. And so they would carry this to a festival or a puppet performance or something like that. And this would be the family's picnic basket, basically. And then this little small box is called a yusanbako. Yu is asobu, and san is mountains, so a playing in the mountains box. And this was a children's lunch box that was used. They would pack the rice usually on the bottom, the vegetables and such in the middle, and then some dessert in the third. And then the children would take this box out to the mountains or to the seaside or the rivers or whatever to have a little picnic with their friends. And so this is a Tokushima specialty. And actually next month, November, we're doing a special puppet performance. My Tokubeza and Naruto-za, one of the other traditional troupes, a special play where the little girl goes out with her, sort of it's a new piece that we're writing and performing. And she's going to take her yusanbako out, and her mother will pack it for her. And she goes and meets friends and such.
Wow, she still follows the traditions.
And we want to let people know about Tokushima traditions. The puppets themselves are Tokushima tradition. And then also we want to bring the Tokushima traditions into the stories as well.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, so if you look here at this map, so this is the northeast part of Shikoku. Down here is Kochi and Ehime and Kagawa prefectures here. And Osaka's up here and Kobe's up here. Anyway, we're right here. And so if you see all of these numbers, these are all where different puppet theaters and stages are located all over the prefecture. This is the center of the prefecture here. Also, this is about the center of Shikoku right here. And so we have puppet theaters and puppet troupes scattered all over the prefecture.
Okay. So you say about 80? You say how many?
80 traditional puppet stages, right?
Stages.
88 now. 88.
88.
Yeah.
But that is 9? 9 is the theater?
The numbers 1 through 9, and here, can you tell us about the
公演が行われている舞台
Oh, I see.
So these are the locations, the dark numbers, 1 through 9, are the locations of the traditional theaters where performances are still held regularly. And then the numbers.
資料館とか
So these are the various puppet museums or exhibits that exist across the prefecture.
So besides the 9, theater and fixed theater, they also have more. Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
So,
ガーデンお見せしましょうかと、あと向こうにまだ結婚式の写真そうですね。はい、わかりました。We're going to do the interview to the Tayu, the storyteller, and Shamisen player as well. Do you have any question?
Wanted
Please
to
leave
swing past
comments.
the garden just because.
はい。
This is the original garden of the Awa Jūrōbē estate here. So this garden is over 300 years old.
300 years old. The Japanese
So it's
garden
the
still
crane and
maintained.
turtle garden.
Ah, crane and turtle.
The little island is shaped like a turtle.
いいね。So what is a crane and a turtle represent in Japan?
Well, in Japan, turtles were thought to live for 10,000 years, and cranes were thought to live for at least 1,000 years. So they also were, cranes were a sign of fidelity. So you often see cranes on a
Fidelity.
Yeah,
for the
because the cranes mated for life. And
All right.
It was a sign of fidelity. So
Yes.
there were cranes on the bride's
the bride's dress. Yeah.
So I think our
Okay.
Shamisen player and Tayu and Puppeteers
Yes.
are ready to.
Yes.
They finished their performance.
So the turtle and the cranes represents the fortune of the the human. あ、ちょうど終わりました。Just finished the play. So we have going to have an interview with the Tayu, the vocalist, storyteller. はい。あ、これね。
あ、ジロベさんここ出てきてもらいます。
ここで。
あ、そうですか。
ありがとうございます。ではまた展示室やお庭もぜひ続けてご鑑賞ください。
はい。After the play interviews.
あ、そうですか。上がった方がいい。
If you have any question to them, please leave in the comments. おお、すごい下駄履いてますね。Where the 下駄
So
you know,
there's
see?
the 舞台下駄。
舞台下駄 so that she become taller. You know, the main puppeteer need to wear that 下駄 so that it's higher.
上がっても
せっかくなのでお顔見えた方がはいはいお見せして
やはり視聴者ですね。
見たい
顔が見たいんじゃないかと思うんですね。
どっちでも
そう。
質問とかしてもいいんですかはいあ、そう出た方がいいか喋っていただくのでできたらシワ顔いやそんなお綺麗な顔が見たいんですよお綺麗ですよthe Amari-san made that the puppets we just introduced in the earlier so he is the kind of legendary puppet creators はい皆さんって週に何回ぐらい練習したりしてるんですか？週1回ぐらいで実際使えるようになるまでどのくらい練習をするんですか？
使うところによりますね。6箇所あるので。
She practice once a week.
各座によって動き方が違うので、覚えるだけで3月ぐらいかかりますけどね。
3月？
ここのジョールのところではこういう動きとか、それからはもうその人の練習次第で今度は情を出していかないと動かすだけじゃなくて。
So it depends on the person, depends on what part they're doing.
Yeah.
And some people are faster than others. And
Yeah, but
what was it? They practice twice
a week. Once a week, she says.
once a week.
Yeah, but anyway, it takes about 3 months to practice. But it depends on the areas you're handling.
The part, whether
the
it's
purse.
head, left hand, feet.
Which part is the most difficult?
Which
part is most difficult?
一番難
難
しい
しいのは。
重か足か。
The main puppeteers of
So the
the
mother's
mother.
head is the
Head and
most
the right
difficult
hands.
part
Yeah.
in the play.
はい。また質問があります。
視聴者から質問が。
How can they walk? Sorry. あれ？そうだな。How can they walk with the heavy? How can they walk with these heavy gets without making too much noise?
なんか
下駄だ。
どうやって歩いてそんなに音を立てないのか。
その下駄履いてる状態で音を立てないで歩くのはどうやってやるんですか？
下駄は音したいから、は足がいっちゃうからね。極力音を立てんように歩きやる時々ずる。
They try not to make any noise as they walk.
下駄の下に草履履かさないと
Yeah, under the guitar they
It has a
put
woven
the
straw
wooden straw
to soften the sound.
Put the the straws under there. これは入ってないね。
So here, it's got a little bit of rubber on it.
It's a rubbers at the
And then
bottom.
sometimes this is like a zori, they put the old ones on here, the woven straw, to make it softer, and it wears out really fast.
I see. ありがとうございます。There's another question. How did they become interested in being the puppeteer? その人形使いになったきっかけって何ですか？
私たちの阿波十郎兵座って言うんですけど、
はい。
ここの十郎兵屋敷が
はい。
浄瑠璃をするので、専属の人形座として結成されたんです。
専属。
十郎兵屋敷で上演するための人形座。
はい。
阿波十郎兵座というのは40年ぐらい前です。
40年前、はい。
近くの人たちばかりが集まって人形座を作ったんです。
はい。
それが阿波十郎兵座はそういう作られた。
はい。で、
やはり人形座によってですね、その地方か村の人ばっかりの座もあるし、この施設ができたら、やっぱりそれがきっかけ。
そうです。
いろいろな出てたは村でずっと古いからある桂座とか神山の頼座とかあるのとか、みんな同好会みたいに集まった人形座もあります。阿波十郎兵座はここの十郎兵屋敷の定期公演をするための人形座なんです。
Right. So many of the puppet theaters are connected with the village or the area where they started. Some of them 200 years ago, or a group of people got together who had common interests and they started a troupe. In this case, this troupe started because the prefectural facility and the theater here got built here. And so these people all lived close by and then started a troupe here about 40 years ago. But then now they've have members coming in from all over nearby.
I see. So ここができたからじゃあ入ろうかなって思った感じですか？何かモチベーションっていうのはやってみようって思った。何でしょう？
前から人形見たりしてたでしょ。でそれは
自分も
やってみたいなという気持ちが。
もう私たちはその40年前は初めて本当に人形、私たちのもう一つ上の、母親の代の人が人形を一人おったんですけど、我々この時だから30代ですよね。若い人はもう初めて人形を持ったっていう人がほとんどだったんですが、昭和の54年 皆さん言われてる。
So back in the 1970s, so they were all in their 30s or so.
Right.
Right, and
It's first time to
really,
see the.
because the theater was built here, it's like, well, I'd like to try puppets,
Okay.
right? And so they decided to form the troupe here. And of course, there are some troops that go back 200 years here in Tokushima.
人形の使い方なんかを知っとる人に教えてもらって、必死で練習して、
はい。
でその教えてもらった人が3年したらちょっと使えるわって言われたんです。その慣れたすぐはこんだけ上手にできるのなんでと思ったけども、やっぱし3年ぐらい経ったらちょっと分かってくるかな。
So then when they first started learning, they had someone teaching them who told them it will take you about 3 years before you can really do it. And, sure enough, they performed and practiced for 3 years and finally started feeling like they could actually do it.
Yeah.
And now they've been doing it for 40 years.
すごい。逆に続けるモチベーションっていうのもね、ありますよね。どうですか。
続けるモチベーションってどんなのかなってやめたら怒られるから。
そうですね、人数足らなんだ絶対できるし。
そうですよね。
ものすごい面白い時期があるんですよ。人
あ
形使いだし。
はい。
何年かすると。それで10年ぐらい経って、だんだん難しくなったら、今度は。
やはり奥深いでしょ。
奥深い。
今体力がだんだんなくなってきたって、その体力を維持するのが。
でもその体力の代わりに経験あるから、なんかそれに頼ってできるんじゃありません。
So she says keeping the energy is very tough for the ages, but they have the experience, so they can cover that. So keeping the motivation is also 大変かな It's maybe tough. So I just asked the question, and they say this after sometimes after a few years, and they sometimes feeling very enjoyable. So 楽しい anyway, they are very enjoyable to keeping that.
三好さんが一番。そうです。
私の子供と一緒だ。
そう
です。何か質問ありませんか。そうだ、太陽と三味線の方。そう。太陽さんお願いします。はい。はい、ありがとうございました。
Thank you、ありがとうございました。どうもお世話になってます。
このスクリーンも綺麗ですよね。はい、ありがとうございます。三味線の方と太陽さん、はい、お願いします。太陽の南さん、ごめんなさい、名前お願いします。はい。はい。Tayuさん。はい。
different ways to say who does the voices of the characters and tells the story, sings the story, and speaks the voices of the characters usually. And Shamisen, this instrument came to Japan in the 1500s. And in the puppet theater, before the shamisen came to Japan, it was usually the biwa. If the Chinese pipa was the instrument that was used for the puppet theater. But the shamisen came from Okinawa in about 1550 or so, and became the most popular instrument for the puppet theater because it can make more different sounds, really light sounds and very heavy sounds and very percussive kinds of sounds. Shamisen かなり 何の音でもなんか出せる。
ありがとうございます。Do you have any questions? Please leave in the comments. So, ストーリーテリングは何年ぐらいされてるんですか？太陽、はい。あ、はい。20年。ああ。はい。はい。はい。はい。はい。で、シャミさんはどのくらい？あ、小学校の6年生から Since elementary school kids。23年 over 23 years. And her mother also the Shamisen player and her grandmother as well. Wow. Well, you look very young, but already 23 years of experience. 若いのに。はい。じゃあ、あと、また質問が、それ、はい。How long does it take to learn play 三味線？三味線習って何年ぐらいで弾けるようになるんですか
？2年ぐらいして初めて舞台に立ちました。
そうですか。
3年？2年。ああ、2 years. After 2 years practice of 三味線 then can なんだろう、出演する、パフォームね、on the theater。はい。すごい。なんかその太陽さんのそのストーリーテリングってすごいなんだろう、感情がこう変わるじゃないですか。あとなんだろう、こう人によってその子供役とお母さん役と急に声が変わったりするじゃないですか。どういうふうにこう声変えてるんですか？
そうですね。語らせてもらった京成アワのなんとか、親子の情愛をしてるストーリーなので、やはりお母さんと子供の、残念ながら私子供はいないんですけど、お母さんと子供の気持ち、出会って、それが出会うけれども別れなければならないっていうその悲しい部分を、その私は声で表現いいなと思いながらいつも語らせてもらってます。
気持ちで変わる感じ。So this use the emotion and then change her voice tones, then express the emotion of the role play. はい。
Minami-san also does 箱回し。
箱回し。So what is 箱回し？はい。
The traditional puppets, they're small puppets, and going house to house with the Ebisu, the sort of god of good fortune, and Sambaso, another character that looks kind of like a priest. And they go house to house performing, especially in New Year's for about 3 months. And 何件ですか？
今1060件ぐらい。
そうそうそう。
1060 homes. 1060 homes.
And at each of these homes, the families welcome them at the new year to sort of dispense blessings through these sort of divine puppets onto each of the families.
Is that the Tokushima tradition, the 箱回し?
It's in Tokushima. 大体その箱回しってね、なんか昔は徳島だけじゃない。
その箱回しをしていたのが徳島県の人だけなんですよ。
そうですか。
箱回しをしてた。で、お家を回っていたのは四国です。
ああ、四国。
徳島だけじゃなくて、香川、愛媛、高知は一部なんですけど、昔はその箱回しっていう人形縛りをされてる方がたくさん、芸人さん自体が多いので、四国4県、高知は一部ですけど、ずっとお正月にずっとその箱回しの人形でお家を元気回ってたんです。
So these puppets, these hakomawashi, hako is a box, so they're carrying them on their backs, they're small puppets, and they go house to house in Tokushima especially, but then also into Kagawa Prefecture, Ehime Prefecture, and a little part of Kochi Prefecture were part of the route traveling around.
For the purpose is to 何のため? Is the harvesting,
the purpose
coming fortune?
is to sort of bless the house bless them for 健康とか。
お正月だから新年に行くので、そのお家の、去年までの嫌なことを全部払うっていう。
ああ、で、repair the demons。
っていうのが可愛らしい恵比寿にいるんです。
はい。
その恵比寿さんが、今年、その新年を迎えたお家に幸せ、たくさんの
giving the
がいっぱいあ
fortunes。
りますようにって願うお正月の祝福の芸です。
So repel the demon and giving the fortune, bless the family.
Get rid of all of the old junk from the old year. And sort of purify the family, purify the house for at the end, and then the new year starts new and clean and healthy and happy.
わかりました。ありがとうございます。あと質問というかリクエストみたいなんですけど、もう一回その娘さんのショーをやっていた時のデモンストレーションできますか？声、そうですね。はい、パフォーマンスデモンストレート。今難しかったですよ。はいはい。すいません。可愛らしい声。ありがとうございます。急にできるのがすごい。ありがとうございます。はい。はい。じゃあ。
Shamisen ちょっと近く。
コマースしてきたんですけど。
あ、これは何のために？
これちょっとしまうときに。
カバー。
はい、カバーです。
そうなんですね。
そう、これは犬か猫か。
これ犬です。
So this is dog skin.
そうなんですね。
裏も犬か
ドッグスキン。
犬です。
So this is dog skin on the back and the front. Sometimes it's 犬と猫と。Sometimes it's dog and cat. So that there's more tension between in the sound. なんかこれ犬と猫と両方あれば。
もっと強くなる。
So, and then the strings, 弦は
蚕、the silk, yeah, silk strings
for it. And then the bachi, the bachi 象牙 is traditionally made of ivory, and sometimes they make them out of plastics also.
I see.
And then up here is where the tuning occurs.
3つ。いい？
でも一番大事なの。
はい。
The hand right here. And this hand right here. Those are the most important parts.
ありがとうございます。はい、ありがとうございました。はい、よかったです。ありがとうございます。じゃあそろそろ終わりになりますね。Do you have any question? If you have any question, please leave in the comment. It's just ending. こっちは仲はいいですね。あとお見せするとこことかなかったかな。あ、ごめんなさい。これがおつるとお母さん。These are statues. 綺麗ですよね。はい。トミさんが。じゃあここら辺で終わりにしましょうか。マジですファニー。はいはい、OK。じゃあ皆さん、ごめんなさい。ちょっと待って。よいしょと、はい、どうもありがとうございました。Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Please come to Tokushima and see a live performance.
Awa Jūrōbē Yashiki in Tokushima Prefecture. はい、hope you enjoyed. またね、バイバイ。
Bye.